Remember this.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
You wouldn't believe that looking at the media today, though. They act like Trump is the worst, most evil person ever for deporting illegal alien criminals. Yet Obama, Bill Clinton, and other Democrats were all on board with this for years up until Trump, and they're on tape saying so.
Committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone.
Public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
We use phrases like undocumented workers. We convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Oh, really?
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked.
We will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace.
This is your reminder that Obama deported 5.3 million people and Bill Clinton deported 12.3 million. They were fine with it then. Why the sudden change of heart?
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Yeah, great question. Great way to start off the show. Very good question. Why on earth have Democrats seemed to have radically changed their mind on this all of a sudden? Now, it's not unheard of for people to change their mind, but how we go from a radical shift of, yeah, illegal immigrants are bad for American citizens and bad for the people here to, oh my gosh, we can't deport anybody. It's just too cruel and unusual punishment. So we have questions. I have questions anyway, and I'm not sure if the Democratic Party and the people who work with them can answer those questions for me. But today's show, if you can, let me fix the little title cards real quick. There we go. If you can see our little thumbnail for today's show, it says, Trump can't win. And yeah, the media just keeps putting Trump in these no-win situations. And as you can see from these two articles that I have pulled up, first one here says, what happened to the children caught up in Trump's deportation? I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Like, it's Trump deports American U.S. citizens, children, with their illegal immigrant parents. Awful. And then we also have stories from this one, and I wish I could pull it up, but I don't want to pay for the New York Times. It says, mother and father were deported. What happened to the toddler? So the toddler supposedly got left in the United States. So he didn't deport American citizens. So Trump is in a scenarios now where he goes, he's damned if he sends the American citizen, or not even really American citizens, they're illegal immigrants' children that happen to be born in the United States. It's ridiculous. The fact that you can just be born in the United States, they can literally be pregnant, cross the border, have a kid here, and then all of a sudden that kid's an American citizen. That's ridiculous. I don't think any other nation operates that way. But so we have these kids, and would you rather them be separated from their parents or be deported with their parents? That's the question. But either way, the media has turned these articles into, it's a no-win. If he sends the kids home with their parents, he's evil for deporting an American citizen. But if he doesn't deport the kid and he keeps the American citizen here, he's bad for separating parents from his family. That is 100% negative media coverage. There is no win. The media cannot allow Trump to have a win. This is how you know the media is evil. The fact that this is, I mean, and you saw the little video that we just got done playing. This girl right here playing this video showing all the Democrats from back in the day saying like, yeah, they're bad for the economy. They're bad for American citizens. What happened to that? They deported millions, sometimes even probably billions in some cases. What is happening that it's bad when Trump does it, but when Democrats do it, it's okay? These are the questions that we always ask ourselves, and we can't get a good, direct answer. It's just like, well, Trump's doing it the wrong way. Is there any really right way to deport somebody? It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But we'll read this article here just a little bit. What happened with the This is from CNN, of course. What happened to the U.S. citizen children caught up in Trump's deportation push? The Trump administration's removal to Honduras last week of 3 children who are U.S. citizens underscores how its push to carry out historic deportation campaign can result in extraordinary circumstances and violations of internal policies and due process rights intended to void such situations, legal experts say. At the time, Splash Dash approached as a result in the government running up against the parental rights of some undocumented adults and the rights of their U.S. citizen children, who enjoy all the same legal protections as their U.S. citizens. The 3 young children from 2 families were removed to Honduras with their mothers, who were deported within hours or days of the women attending routine meetings and officials in Louisiana as part of a intensive supervision appearance program. The Trump administration argues that the U.S. citizen children can always return to the U.S., so their due process rights are different from those non-citizens, and it has claimed that the mothers of the children recently deported wanted to keep their kids with them, something that has been in dispute by the disputed by the mothers. Okay, even if that is the case, which they're not citing any source here, so that's suspicious. But 2, what type of parent would want their children to be separated from them? That's really like arguably like, I think worse. Because if I was being sent somewhere forcibly, I would want to make sure my family stays with me so I can protect them. Unless, of course, they have some sort of relatives that live up here. I guess, but we don't know. That's not in the article. So you'd rather them be put in a foster care system and have zero control over them. So ask yourself these questions. This is the problem, is like, I don't think that Democrats ask themselves these questions. This stuff doesn't make sense. The deportations, however, experts told CNN, also run afoul of the internal immigration customs enforcement policies that lays out procedures to ensure situations like these are handled much more methodically and protracted way. Now, right now, the emphasis on the numbers. Deport as many people as possible. These are all mothers who had removal orders, so they are easy to deport. You don't have to go through the whole hearing process unless an immigration judge grants a petition to reopen the case. So the focus is just getting them out the door, said Stacey Brewston, and an expert on immigration and family law who served as the director of Immigration Law and Policy Initiative at Catholic Law. The rush process, however, tramples on due process rights of all involved and directly violates ICE's own policy directive. The directive makes clear that ICE must not rush deportations when the rights of parents and children are at stake. There is no consideration process, she added. In one case, the mother was deported, took her 2-year-old, while her other involved motherhood deported a 4 and a 7-year-old child went with her. Attorneys for the women say they didn't want children to go with them, but the U.S. officials have said the opposite, further complicating the matter. So yeah, it's he said, she said. So maybe they told one person that they wanted their kids, and then they started thinking about it, and they told somebody else that maybe they didn't want to take their kids. But either way, I think that's super bad. I would rather have the kids with you. Any person who wouldn't want to have their children with them, I think is a bad person. Lawyers of the 2-year-old, identified in court papers as VML, had sought emergency intervention from federal judge, but her and her mother had already begun removal to Honduras by the time the judge was fully able to assess the situation. In a ruling last week, U.S. District Judge Terry Doughty was careful to note that the conflicting statements on VML's mother's wishes, writing that he doesn't know whether they truly wanted her daughter to stay with her. Doughty, an appointee of President Donald Trump, appeared troubled by the murky situation. Of course, it's illegal and unconstitutional to detain for deportation for recommended deportation of U.S. citizens, he wrote, citing a writing from 2012 case concerning a U.S. citizen who was wrongly deported. The judge has scheduled a hearing this month. The interest of dispelling our strong suspicion that the government just deported a U.S. citizen with no meaningful process, Various Trump administration officials have claimed that the mothers said that they wanted their U.S. children, to go with them, including Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, who said earlier this week that the mothers made a parental decision to leave the country with the minors. Homan said that the administration would have faced similar criticism to the public outcry over the zero-tolerance policy from Trump's first term, resulting in migrant families being separated while the government initiated criminal prosecutions of every adult who illegally crossed the border. If we didn't do it, the story today would be the Trump administration separates families again, Homan said. No, we're keeping families together. And that is 100% true. Do you remember that was all Trump's things? Like, they're separating families at the border, even though most of those children were not even related to the adults that they were with, which tells you that was human trafficking and possibly potential, assaulting trafficking. So ridiculous. But this is why I pulled up the articles. Like, Trump deports American citizens. Trump separates toddler from a U.S. citizen from his illegal immigrant parents. There's no win. No matter what Trump does, he can't win with the media and the Democratic Party. This is all just easy ways for them to get negative media coverage. It doesn't matter what it is 100% negative towards Trump. And that is the point of all this. It is absolutely ridiculous that this is the case. Said the fact that a person cannot be wrong 100% of the time. Especially a president. He cannot be wrong every decision he makes. And if he is, good God. But that's the media. The media has literally turned this into just a way to make Trump look bad. Constantly. And that's pretty much the stint of this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Children who are U.S. citizens deported along with their foreign-born mothers. I mean, I've pulled up articles for days for this. But this is the one that absolutely is like, at least I can understand this one. It's like U.S. citizen children are being deported. But then you got this one. A mother and father were deported. What happened to their toddler? So the toddler is still here in the United States, supposedly. So he's separating children. It's a no-win scenario for Trump every time. I don't know how to put it any other way. It's always a lose-lose for Donald Trump. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous. But now that we've been kind of doing that, the other one was they're trying to make I just accidentally closed out of it, but I'll pull it back up here in just a second.
If you're a criminal.
Ooh, I don't want to listen to that again. I just accidentally closed out of it. Give me 1 second to pull it back up. But Detroit woman does wrong turn and is facing at the Canada border and faces deportation. So Detroit AP or Associated Press, a woman from Guatemala, so said it's the exact same as the Maryland man hoax. She's not from Detroit. She just happens to reside in Detroit. She's from Guatemala. A Guatemalan woman says her and her 2 U.S.-born children were held for nearly a week by custom agents in Detroit after a phone app directions to the nearest Costco led them to the international bridge connecting the city to Canada. So it's technically Canada's fault that this lady is going to be deported. Now faces removal proceedings in June in Immigrations Court, according to Ruby Robinson, senior managing attorney with Michigan Immigrants' Rights Center. On Thursday, Robinson U.S. Rep. Rashida Tlaib and the UCLA of Michigan called for more accountability and transparency by U.S. Customs and Border Protection on detentions along with the nation's northern border with Canada. Our neighbors and families shouldn't have to be disappearing because they made the wrong turd, Tlaib said. She shouldn't be in the United States anyway. This is what's always funny, is like they break one law and then they ignore that law that they break because the U.S. has arrested them. This is the problem with the left. They ignore the first crime and then they're just like focus on how dare the government do the right thing and deport the person or follow the law. How dare we follow the law? The Michigan Democrat said that she was told on the March 21st, by CBP about the 213 people that had been detained at the same location since January, with more than a 90% mistakenly driving onto the bridge's toll plaza. Tlaib also said that she was told by 12 families had been detained in the same building where Robinson's client was held. We don't know exactly what's happening. There's a lack of transparency, she said, adding that the similar detentions are likely occurring elsewhere along the 5,525-mile northern border. But Customs and Border Protection said agents encountered just over 200 undocumented people from January 20th to March 21st at crossings in Detroit. About half were detained and turned over to ICE, and the second processing was complete, according to the CBP spokesperson. The Michigan Migrant Rights Center is representing the Guatemalan woman. Robinson declined to release her name or age, only confirming that she had been in the U.S. about 6 years but has no legal status. Her daughters are ages 5 and 1, were born in the U.S. The father lives in Detroit. Okay, so again, women are coming over to the United States, getting pregnant, so that way they can stay here with their U.S.-born citizen children. That is crazy. Crazy, the fact that you can literally come here, have a child, and be like, I don't have to worry about getting deported, because then I'll have all these liberal civil rights activists coming to my aid. Despite the fact that I came here illegally, I've done everything wrong, and I'm going to get here to stay here because I had a kid as soon as I got here. As soon as I got here, got pregnant, had a kid. That is encouraging terrible behaviors. You wonder why our society is the way it is now? It's because people are allowing people to get away with crap like this. The fact that you can just come here, get pregnant, have a kid, and no worries now. It's absolutely ridiculous. That is not how the founding fathers intended this crap to go down. On March 8th, the woman with her two daughters were in a vehicle driven by the 19-year-old brother, who she used a phone app to find the nearest Costco and didn't realize the closest store was on the Canada side of the bridge, the Canadian side of the bridge. Robinson said during a Zoom call with reporters. They drove onto the bridge, toll plaza, but didn't go past the toll booths. They were stopped by CBP agents, taken to a nearby building where she was questioned and fingerprinted. She also signed a form stating that she entered the U.S. illegally. She said agents told her that she was going to be deported and encouraged her to take her daughters back to Guatemala, according to Robinson. They were held in a small windowless room, slept on cots, and given microwavable food like ramen noodles and oatmeal. They were only allowed to leave the room when to use the restroom and shower, she said. By Monday night, March 10th, their youngest daughter began to develop a fever, and the woman said that the agents had no medication for the child. The older daughter would soon come down with a cough. And yeah, so that is completely them trying to make this look way worse. Do you really think that they were denying medical aid to the child? Highly unlikely. It's like, we don't have anything right now. We will go get something. Guaranteed that's more likely what it was. But hey, who knows? But this is the case, is the fact that these people will lie, cheat, and steal to make Trump look as bad as possible, Trump and his administration. So, and a wrong turn. Yeah, it's hilarious that a wrong turn and going to Canada is what caused this lady to get deported. If you don't see some type of irony in that, I mean, you got to be crazy. But we'll go ahead and just get over to some memes right now before we close out for the day. But I just thought all this stuff is absolutely crazy. The completely 100% negative media coverage of Trump, and then them trying to make what's his name? The Maryland Man 2.0 with this Detroit woman hoax. It's like, it says, and that's the thing. It's like, this is how you know that most liberals don't read the articles. Like, she's a Guatemalan woman. Same as other guy. He's a Tren de Aragua gang member. He was not an American citizen. He is not a Maryland man. He is not a citizen of the United States. It is absolutely ridiculous that this is being played out like this and that the media is 100% in lockstep on this. It's scary. It is really scary that that's the case. But we'll go ahead and get over to some memes real quick. All right. And I love this one right here. How to anger a conservative. To anger a conservative, lie to him. To anger a liberal, tell him the truth. Teddy Roosevelt. And I keep thinking that is 100% the case. You know, I'm always like, maybe not, but if you tell the truth, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous that, you know, that seems to be the case because liberals are constantly lying in the media. Still are. Next one is, and this is how you can't hate the media enough. Study finds that nearly half the recorded COVID deaths were not caused by the virus. Yeah, which we knew that. Like, what was that guy, that motorcycle guy? When it first happened, a guy who got decapitated by a motorcycle was tested positive for COVID. That was listed as a COVID fatality because hospitals were getting incentives if they had COVID deaths to get more money from the federal government. So any death, these hospitals were manipulating the numbers by saying, oh, if they had COVID and they died with COVID, but they didn't die of COVID. I mean, we talked about this back when this was going on. So we knew that this was the case. And like I said, and now we're finally, here we are. How many years now? It's been at least 3-4 years now since this happened. And we're just getting articles like this about it. Ridiculous. Oh, okay. Next one. Oh, yeah. And when people ask me why I hate the left so much, I send them this pic. Yeah, some doctors and nurses being like, he's at peace. We are so sorry. Like, this is when you couldn't go see your dying relatives in the hospital. They were purposely keeping you away from your relatives for a disease that had a 99.99% survival rate. As we've all learned now, is that the damage from the vaccine has caused more deaths and harm than the actual disease was. Like, I mean, it was a terrible movie, but that Morbius movie had that one line just like, how do we know if a cure is bad? I forget what it was. I forget what the saying was, but it's like if the cure is worse than the disease. So yeah, this is that case where the cure is worse than the disease. Thanks, Fauci. And this next one, very, very hilarious, says somebody from the EU being like, look what Russia is doing to its own people. And it's a guy locked up for political prosecution. And then the guy taps him and lets him know this is actually the European Union. Which, as you can see, like that happened with like the not the ADL or AL, whatever one of the German political parties was. They literally decided that, oh, this political party we deem as fascist, so therefore it can't run for office. So, again, the New World Order folks are like, there's no New World Order. It's like, well, obviously something's going on if the Germans or the EU can just like completely get rid of a political party's ability to run for office because they deem them as fascist. Scary stuff. Next one. Trust us. It's the media. It's a media pollster. It says Trump's approval ratings are down. And then the paper falls off and it shows Kamala Harris is going to win. It's like, yeah, who are these people taking these polls? And you remember how wrong that the media was about the Kamala Harris victory. Every single one of them was predicting that Trump was going to lose. So that's what you have to remember. Like, don't trust the polls. This one's great. This is like, speaking of like Trump not having as much power as a federal court or a lower court, said President Lincoln, the circuit court judge just blocked your Emancipation Proclamation. And that's true. That's basically what these lower court judges are like. Bring back all those illegal immigrants that you deported. Like a lower circuit court judge has more authority than the president. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, this one's good. I'm putting a team together, and it's that girl that cheated on her husband with all those police officers. And then it's the Hawk Tuah girl, that girl that had that freak out on the airplane. Is like, that dude is not real. And then the lady that just literally called the little boy that took stuff from her son and going through her purse the N-word. We saw that one. Oh, I like this one. Another stone toss. Stone toss is great. It says, why don't you date trans women? Said, you don't date trans women? But I was born this way. And then the guy's like, me too. I love it. Yeah, this is what you're importing right now. You want to know why immigration is bad? Like, especially immigration from the Middle East. I said, at least you can say about Hispanics is that they're Christian, at least, or supposed to be anyway. But here's what Europe is importing.
Finding a good husband, you walk porn on the street, you seek our generation.
Can you leave that,
Yes,
please?
I can talk, I speak not of husband, I talk in the name of God. Yes, I'm sure. I love woman, I love
Name of God. Yeah, I'm sure.
finding a good husband.
Yeah. So these women are getting berated for the way that they're dressed, walking down the street by an Islamic man that's telling them that they need to cover up and they need to find themselves husbands that will discipline them and all that stuff. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. This is what you're importing. You see, do you wonder why you see these cultures of Europe is changing dramatically? It's because you're importing a culture that doesn't want to adapt. It's only come there to conquer and import in its culture that it brought in. I mean, the reason, you want to go to Europe one day, to all your favorite places in Europe, and just see a bunch of women walking around in burqas? I sure as heck don't. And being from the United States, most Americans have some sort of tie to Europe. That is our homeland. So you want to go there and you want to go learn about your history, and you're just going to see a bunch of people walking around in burqas. It's crazy. This is 100% the case. I think we showed this one before too, but all this bull crap started because of this bull crap, thanks to this a-hole. And it's kind of true. It's kind of true. He allowed this to happen. The slippery soap fallacy has been proven correct by conservatives. Like, he can absolutely walk in. He approved gay marriage. Then everyone's like, oh, don't worry. They're just going to get married. They're not going to force you to bake a cake for them. Lo and behold, guy gets sued in Colorado for not baking a cake for a gay wedding. And then next thing you know, it's like, we're not going to force it on children. They're forcing all this stuff into schools. There is a LGBTQ curriculums now in schools, which is ridiculous. So, how come every fear that conservatives and, Christians had about approving gay marriage has come true, has come to full fruition now? But this one's good. Whoever is running this account needs a raise. The White House posted this. 4 simple truths. Kamala Harris is not a president. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not a Maryland man. NPR is not real news, and this is not the Gulf of Mexico anymore. I love it. I love it. It's good stuff. Doge success. Charlie Kirk. We'll skip those ones. This one right here. The people, this is 100% true, and since we were talking about COVID and immigration just a few minutes ago, this is completely relevant. The people who forced you to get vaxxed to keep your job just let in 17 million unvaccinated and unemployed people. I would definitely say that this was the greatest scam ever pulled on the world, or at least America. The fact that you were told that you have to get vaccinated to keep your job. And then what do? The Democrats do. The people who told us to get vaccinated, told us we were crazy and we were going to be locked up if we didn't get vaccinated, let in millions of illegal immigrants who aren't vaccinated probably for anything into our country and said, come on in. We have jobs waiting for you here. We have a lot of jobs that need to be filled. And then you're wondering why our housing prices, because again, remember, I've talked about this before. If our birth rates are in decline, that means our population is getting smaller. Home prices should be going down because it means there are more homes than there are people. But somehow, prices of homes are going up. Homes that were $200,000 10 years ago are $500,000 today. And you know why that is? It's because they've imported a huge, massive population of people that have come to this country to artificially inflate the price of homes. You want to know why your kids are having a hard time and struggling? It is because of this. Like I said, houses, if we are in a lowering birth decline right now, there should be more homes than people. So homes should be cheaper. It absolutely makes no sense. This is how the Democrats are artificially keeping their homes expensive. This is what this is. This is them paying back all those fancy homes that all your favorite little politicians like Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama have bought. Because if there aren't enough people to buy their big fancy homes and to keep the housing market high, guess what? All the prices of their fancy $1 million mansions that they all bought are going to go down, skyrocket downwards, which would be good. I mean, then houses would actually be affordable again. But hey, what do I know, right? Oh, God, I love this one right here. Liberals, y'all white boys better not be celebrating Cinco de Mayo, me and the boys. And it's stuff as the Three Amigos, but they've got MAGA hats on. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is great. Oh, man. But that's really, I think about it. You got the orcs one we've already talked about. It's like, this is what immigration is doing to us right now. Absolutely crazy stuff going on. But that's really, I believe, all we've got for the day. I don't even have like a video to play us out with today. But I guess I'll just repeat the one that we just did earlier with this, talking about Democrats deporting people because, you know, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense that this is what they wanted to do. And, you know, the fact that they've completely done like a 180 over all this, like I said, that they used to be all for this stuff, and now all of a sudden they're not. It makes zero sense to me. But again, what do I know, right? I'm just some guy that complains on the internet. So anyway, but that's all there is for today. This is Chad with Owasso Live. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's all we've got for today. God bless you, and we'll see you later, everybody.
No, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century.
You wouldn't believe that looking at the media today, though. They act like Trump is the worst, most evil person ever for deporting illegal alien criminals. Yet Obama, Bill Clinton, and other Democrats were all on board with this for years up until Trump, and they're on tape saying so.
Committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked, they're gone.
Public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens.
We use phrases like undocumented workers. We convey a message to the American people that their government is not serious about combating illegal immigration.
Oh, really?
We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked.
We will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace.
This is your reminder that Obama deported 5.3 million people and Bill Clinton deported 12.3 million. They were fine with it then. Why the sudden change of heart?